Al, it's your girl Claudia Jordan, and we are back with TGIF. We're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. And later on the show, we have some outspoken law professionals that's here to help us dive into the latest high-profile legal cases. Now sit back, relax, and get ready to sip this hot tea. Please welcome Al Reynolds. What's up, Al?
Hey, Claudia.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Let's get into it. Let's have fun tonight. And please welcome Armand Wiggins. What's up, Armand?
Hey, baby, I'm ready to get into some things. We got a lot to talk about.
Okay. I just want the soulmate to know, when I ask y'all if y'all drinking, it's not because I'm trying to push it on you. I just want to know, and, I'm just being nosy. So are y'all drinking tonight?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
No buttery Chardonnay tonight?
No buttery Chardonnay tonight.
Okay, I got my Moscato over here, but that's kind of like juice. All right, let's get into these topics. In honor of Pride Month, Oprah opened up about her brother and shared an uplifting message to the LGBTQ plus community. Let's take a look.
It was 35 years ago that my younger brother, Jeffrey Lee, died from AIDS. And the world was an extremely cruel place, not just for people suffering from AIDS, but also for LGBTQ people in general. How different his life might have been had he lived in these times in a world that saw and appreciated him for who he was rather than attempting to shame him for his sexuality.
I had no idea. What are your thoughts on Oprah reflecting out? What do you think about this?
You know what? Oprah Winfrey is such an amazing storyteller. She always uses the right inflection and she just shares. I remember this story because she talked about it in the Washington Post back in I think it was 89 is when he died, but she didn't talk about it until the 90s at the height of the epidemic. Now, he died from AIDS complications before the height of the AIDS epidemic that occurred in the early to mid 90s. I love when she does this. This is why we are endeared to her. And I love the fact that she's bringing it back up during Pride Week. I mean, it just makes me feel good that she's open about it, and it'll help others to communicate more as it relates to AIDS as well as the LGBT community during Pride Week.
Okay, this is a comment from the soulmates. It is not from me. Anita said, "When is Oprah coming out?" You tried it. Armand, what do you think about this story?
I love this reflection that Oprah has done. I didn't know that she had a brother, let alone passed away that was gay, that passed away with HIV. But I'm just glad that she talked about it and shown light to it. And, in regards to HIV and AIDS, I have a lot of friends that are living with the disease and the virus. And I'm just happy that they are able to live in these times where, they are now becoming undetectable. And there's things like PrEP, to prevent the virus, and that we're able to live more healthier lives and able to see, a future, whereas other people, they didn't get that opportunity that came before us. So, shout out to Oprah and thank you for recognizing us during this time.
Absolutely. I think it's such a powerful thing when someone in the position of an Oprah Winfrey speaks on these kind of topics. I think it brings a lot of awareness. Unfortunately, we are in a society where the word of celebrity carries a lot of weight. I say unfortunate because it shouldn't be just because you're famous. We should just care about these things just because. But it is what it is, and you got to give props where props is due. And the fact that she spoke on this, I didn't know she had a brother. Nonetheless, I didn't know she had a brother that passed from HIV. And I think this is a really big deal. Fish Our Jedi said, Oprah got a story for every occasion. Oracle One said, never knew she had a brother. And Tristan Lee said, I never knew Oprah had a brother or that he passed from AIDS. I wish he could have lived to see these days. Absolutely. Well, maybe her speaking out will help someone else in the future, and we have to be optimistic. All right. Ray J recently stopped by the Club Shay Shay podcast and revealed how different the world would have been if his sex tape with Kim Kardashian had not been made public. Check this out.
The question is, how different would we all be? How different would this whole thing be? How different would the industry be? I don't know. Probably more people would be going to college and, getting an education to be successful. There might not be any OnlyFans and other things like that.
Wow, that's a lot of weight he put on that. All right, with their sex tape being the highest selling and most watched at the time, does this substantiate his claims? Al, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If everybody really can be honest about this, Ray J shifted the culture. And what's so interesting, if we're really, really being honest about it, Willie Norwood and Sonia Norwood, those two parents right there, especially Sonia Norwood, I've spoke about them on this platform before. Those were brilliant managers of those kids. Both of those kids shift the culture. Both of those kids also were culture creators. And he's absolutely correct. He's created the environment that we're watching now because he helped on the shoulders of him. He helped create one of the biggest entertainment families in the business that we all watch daily, and we watch them make multi-millions, if not billions of dollars off of this.
All right, Kenya Meehan said he's right. It was the beginning of self-exploitation and content creation. Rosemary Watson disagrees and said the tape wasn't that important. And Kev, the creator, says, why are we still talking about this 20-plus-year-old sex tape? Please move on. I'll tell you this. We're talking about it because he has a point. I mean, I don't know if there'd be no OnlyFans without this tape, but we cannot deny Ray J's contribution to pop culture and the success of the Kardashian family. If there was no sex tape, who knows? Kim K could still be organizing closets for Paris Hilton. That's what she was doing. And when this tape came out and blew her up, it really changed a lot. Armand, what do you think about this?
I think I love Ray J, first of all. Love Ray J. Ray J is my guy. But I think this was a bit of a bold statement. I would have to disagree. I do think that this would have happened. If it wasn't him, it'd have been someone else. The only thing that probably would have changed is the fact that we wouldn't have had the Kardashians at the magnitude that we have them, and Ray J would have had a more successful music career. So you have to understand, this sex tape plummeted Ray J's career and boosted the Kardashians. So had this sex tape not came out, I think Ray J would have been bigger in music career-wise than he is today. But I feel like OnlyFans and influencer culture would have already been there because people were doing porn. We've had socialites before the Kardashians. So I don't think that would have changed much. We would have been eventually involved into this.
Who else would have ushered it in?
I mean, we had Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, we had all of, and then before that we had.
And why was there such an interest around this one? Why did this become so big?
Because it was the rich white girl family with
the black.
So, yeah. But at the time, I used to hang out with Kim back around the time when this tape first came out. I will say this. She was piggybacking off the success of Paris Hilton, One Night in Paris.
Exactly.
When that tape came out. Yeah, One Night in Paris came out. And then Kim did the same exact thing, kind of followed her playbook. But it was more of a big deal, I think, my opinion, because it was a rich white woman with a black man. Paris's tape was with a white man. And I think, we're obsessed with this, right? Ansel D'Angelo said, Ray J is giving that tape a bit much. It definitely propelled Kim K to stardom and fame, but creating OnlyFans, nah.
That's what I'm saying. We cannot disregard Paris Hilton's influence. She was all over. So it was the cards were already being set up to happen. It just it struck with them, but it was going to happen regardless because the groundwork was being laid. So I don't think, with or without Ray J and Kim, that moment was going to happen.
Might I point out when I remember there was a beautiful black woman, I think Nicole Narain was her name. She was a playmate. She had a sex tape with Colin, the actor, really good looking white boy, dark hair. And it got shut down and it did not get the same play. But when a white woman does it, it is night and day. We cannot move like them. It just benefits the white girl more than, Ray J now is successful, but it did, I agree with you, Al, it did hurt him at first. Lawmakers in Louisiana have approved surgical castration for those convicted of sex crimes against children. They're currently waiting to see if the governor approves the bill before it goes into effect. Are the lawmakers in Louisiana cutting up, or do you all agree with this bill? Al, what do you think?
Well, first of all, surgical castration and chemical castration has been around since 2008 in this particular state. It's just their ability to use it and when to choose to use it. They have used chemical castration, which is basically forcing the people who are sex predators to take a medicine to reduce their testosterone. Surgical castration is them removing their testicles so that there will be no production of testosterone. I think, and this is just my personal opinion, if you're messing with babies and in certain circumstances, you definitely should be elevated from chemical castration to surgical castration. Sorry, I said it, I don't care. Nobody should be able to sexually assault or rape a baby. Period. End of story.
Okay, Armand, what do you think?
I agree. And I think doing that, it helps alleviate pregnancies and disease and all of those things. So if you're taking advantage of these children, then you need to have your ovaries tied up and balls removed.
Now, remember, Claudia, in Texas, you guys have a high number of chemical castrations, but so do we do in California as well. And the other state is Florida.
Well, Texas is right now the rape capital of America, even though our governor has taken away the ability to get abortions and all that, even in cases of rape. So, and he says, oh, I'll just get rid of rape. You're not ending rape. It's actually worse, Hot Wheels. I will say this. I am for this if we absolutely know, like, there's video evidence. What I do get nervous about is this law being applied to Black and brown people that may not be all the way, we're not really sure, and like jumping, because they apply the law differently, just like the crime bill. A lot of people are mad about Biden, about the crime bill, but it was really the police officers who chose to enforce stricter penalties and to go after Black men more than the white men. So who's going to enforce this? What if someone's wrongfully convicted? What if someone lies on someone? So I'm like, if there's video evidence, because there's lots of, how many times do we see cases of people, Black men, that are wrongly accused, wrongly convicted, and then 20 years later, oh, our bad, we made a mistake, here go $2 million. That's what makes me nervous. Bree Richardson said, chop it all the way off. If you can't respect yourself and others around you, protect the children. Billie Jean 327 said, remove the whole thing. And Chris Hoops said, if they can regulate contraception, they need to do something about nasty pedos. And Zebra Lens agrees, says something like what I said. You have to consider false accusations and people manipulating the situations now, especially in racist Louisiana with their, like I said, KKK adjacent governor. In my opinion, it makes me nervous about when it will and will not be applied. But if y'all have proof, I'm all for it. Cut them things. All right, Congressman Hakeem Jeffries called out Representative Byron Donalds after he made some outlandish claims regarding Black people. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, it's come to my attention that a so-called leader has made the factually inaccurate statement that Black folks were better off during Jim Crow. That's an outlandish, outrageous, and out-of-pocket observation. We were not better off when a young boy named Emmett Till could be brutally murdered without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when Black women could be sexually assaulted without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be systematically lynched without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when children could be denied a high-quality education without consequence because of Jim Crow. We were not better off when people could be denied the right to vote without consequence because of Jim Crow. How dare you make such an ignorant observation? You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm going to go first on this one because I am a huge fan of Hakeem Jeffries representing Brooklyn. This man is the sharpest person in Congress. I will go on record in saying that. I hope he runs for president one day. He is amazing and he plays no games. This coon, Byron, I'm calling him a coon because that's what my opinion is. That's not the views of Foxhole, but I think that's what you are. Has the audacity to take Black people way back and say we were better off during Jim Crow. You would know better than Ron DeSantis, who had the audacity to say that Black people, y'all kind of benefited from slavery because you learned to trade and we got you out of Africa and that's a bad place to be and we brought you over here. How dare you? These Black men that are lining up and aligning themselves with the Republican Party thinking they're going to be vice president. First of all, Trump ain't going to make you vice president. He's not. It's going to be J.D. Vance or Ron DeSantis. He's not. And all this shucking and jiving y'all are doing, Master, I got your back. I got the Blacks. We don't rock with you. You're like the male Omarosa. You flip-flop and you go back and forth to where you think is going to benefit you. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And yes, I am calling you a COON because that's what you are giving. And I hope nobody falls for this. Black people, they are playing in our faces with the sneakers. We're saying that we should relate to Trump now because Trump got RICO charges and most Black men we can relate. I don't even know a Black man that has RICO charges against him. So miss me with the BS, Byron. And I hope no one agrees with this. I think this is unbelievable. Armand, what do you think about this?
I just think that this idea is crazy. I mean, how are we doing better being segregated and can't go to the same schools and can't be affiliated with white people to show separatism as if we're not on the same, we're not as valuable as whites. I don't know, this idea that we were better during Jim Crow because perhaps we can, have our own hierarchy and our own community and we're doing well within our community. It still is not equal to being compared and being integrated with white people. We need to be able to compete at all levels, not just within our community. So I think that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, thank you for that. Al, what are your thoughts?
I find just the concept of what came out of Byron's mouth is disgusting and it's appalling to me. And it's so funny. I was in DC a couple of weeks ago and I was in a bar and he walked in and the crowd booed him. They booed him to the extent that he walked out. And now I understand why. Not only is Jim Crow about lynching and killing, listen, in the Jim Crow era, you could not, as a black person, use public restrooms. You could not, as a black person, drink out of fountains. You could not, as a black person, sit in a waiting room to see a doctor. You are not given access to medical stuff. You could not serve on a jury that was putting black people in jail. You could not marry the opposite race. Tell me, sir, how could you possibly say that we were better off then than we are now? We could not buy houses in white communities. We could not attend schools that were predominantly white. Baby, the best part of that whole talk in that chamber was when he said what Ice Cube's rap was. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. And we need to really go on into the rest of the lyrics of that song where he talk about what he could do with his testicles.
I agree. Look, can I just say at this thing, it's almost like saying we can be celebrities, we can be popular in Atlanta, just don't come to LA type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can be cool amongst your own community, but you can't compete at a high level in Hollywood, in the real Hollywood. I don't know. I just don't agree with it. I think it's crazy. We're not doing better just being amongst our people. We need to be able to compete at every level. We need access to everything. So I would never agree with that.
Let me just add insult to injury because I'm all about checking these coons. Tim Scott and Byron, neither one of you coons could marry your white wives if Jim Crow was still around. So how about that? You wouldn't even be able to be married to the person you're married to. I don't get black people that sell themselves out and their people out to get white acceptance. You look ridiculous. I get you get a lot of attention. Trust me, you think white people are embracing you? They are laughing at you. They like, oh, we got another one. Do you really think you're accepted because you're saying this stupid nonsense? I'm so sick of you. All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to cool off during this commercial break because we was really crunk on that. I really appreciate the passion from both of y'all. But coming up next, we have Xavier E. Prather and attorney Anderson here to break down these trending legal cases because we need some help here. And later, find out if Tyler Perry is ready to rebrand. Stick around. We got a lot of show left. We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF. When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. And you always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, tonight we are breaking down some of the latest high-profile cases with some amazing and outspoken law professionals. This segment is called Breaking the Case. Hit it. All right, please help me welcome business law attorney Anderson, aka Lawyer Bay, and entertainment lawyer, aka the reality TV lawyer Xavier Prather. Thanks for being here. And how y'all feeling tonight?
Feeling good.
I'm feeling great.
Okay. I asked my host if they're having anything to sip on tonight, but are y'all drinking tonight?
I'm drinking water. I wish it was something a little more fun, a little more spicy, but it'll do for now.
You know what? But that's okay because you'll be able to give us your great takes on this. So let us be the ones that are messy. Okay. Xavier, people may recognize you because you made history by becoming the first Black person to ever win the original Big Brother. That is amazing. How was that experience?
That experience was incredible. It was life-changing, honestly. Since I've been in that Big Brother house, life has not looked the same. And I think if that didn't happen, I don't know that I would be here talking to you guys today, trying to break down these cases. So I'm forever grateful for my time on Big Brother and what we accomplished.
I tip my hat because I couldn't last past 3 episodes on dealing with this episode. You got it. You did it.
Okay, and Attorney Anderson, the viewers might recognize you for navigating the challenges of lawyers dating on your podcast, the Single in Law podcast. Why is it important for you to create this podcast?
Well, it's important for me to create this podcast because people don't understand what lawyers actually go through in the dating scene. Like, it's really ghetto, and people automatically think that we get who we want, when we want, how we want it. But men automatically feel like we are too strong. So I created that platform to create a safe space, not only for lawyers, but for professionals who are having issues in the dating world.
All right. Al, you're on mute.
All right, counselors, let's break down these cases like I do on my show, The Court of Public Opinion. Now, we all know about the Diddy scandal with multiple alleged accusers. Do you think criminal charges will be filed, A, and could his brand ever make a comeback? Xavier, let's start with you.
Do I think criminal charges will be filed? I believe it was reported last Wednesday that federal investigators are looking to indict him. They're having the victims in a lot of civil cases. They're trying to have him indicted by the federal grand jury. A lot of these victims in these civil cases that we're seeing are willing to testify in front of this grand jury, which I think if that happens, he's looking at, sex trafficking, illegal drugs, abuse, money laundering. There's a whole host of potential crimes that he might be indicted on.
All right, Kanye West has been tied up in multiple lawsuits from Donda Academy for unpaid music producers and most recently, sexual harassment. A lot going on around Kanye West ever since he hugged Trump from the back. Will this impact him? I'm saying it all went downhill after he did that and talked about Kim Kardashian's abortion, like wanting her to have an abortion. Like, it's a mess. Will this impact him differently since the alleged victim is a former employee? What do you think about that, Thelma?
I do think that it will impact him. One thing that celebrities don't understand, especially when you get to the level of success of a Kanye or the level of success of a Diddy, your skin color would not change how people look at you. They're going to treat you just like you look and how they think about you. So I think that he is in danger, and I think he needs to be doing damage control as we speak. But who knows? Because like I say, people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. But I do think it's some red flags there. And I do think that they're going to be poking, not because of, what the possibility is, but because the color of his skin.
Okay, Xavier, I want to ask you, get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, when it comes to the Kanye situation, I think any celebrity that's in the public space, you have eyes on you. You have to be aware of some of the things that you're doing. Like, you're being tracked, you're being looked at. People are waiting for you to slip up, especially if you're a person of color in the public eye. I tend to find that you have far less grace when you mess up. And that's something that not only Kanye, but his team needs to be aware of, especially and all these other high-profile figures.
All right. Now let's switch gears and talk about Sean Kingston. Sean and his mother have been charged with several fraud charges from grand theft, identity theft, and more. Is this common when companies collaborate with celebrities, or do you think Sean used his fame to commit these crimes? Xavier, back to you.
I think Kingston took advantage of probably his fandom. I think the easiest way for him to get his scheme going and working successfully, so to speak, was to just kind of prey on those who were enamored by him. And it seems like that's what him and his mother took advantage of. And now he's suffering the consequences.
Okay, Thelma, I want to run to you with this one too. What do you think?
I think first and foremost, businesses need to stop looking at a person's celebrity status in order to offer them compensation or offer them something in return for their celebrity status, because that's when you run into issues like that. And that's when you run into people like Sean Kingston, who knows that his celebrity status will get him things. So I need businesses to do a lot more checking before they start issuing out these expensive pieces of jewelry or expensive items or giving lines of credit when a person hasn't actually shown that they are capable of being financially stable to afford these things. So even though, yes, I believe that Sean has used that to his advantage, I also need these companies to stop allowing these celebrities, because of their status, to reap these benefits without them actually qualifying them for it like the average person.
Well, I want to go to the chat. D Love says, right, think about it. When was the last time he had a hit? I will say that. And also, Jadel Celestine said, big up Xavier, one of my favorite Big Brother contestants. He did so well on Reindeer Games, and he did so well. Blessings on the engagement and new business ventures. We have lots of people in the chat active about both of you, so they're really excited about you guys being here. Go ahead, Al.
Thank you.
I love this segment, guys. Good job, counselors. Attorney Anderson, come on now. Tell us how to connect with you in your law firm. Tell us a lawyer group, or how do they reach you?
So you can reach me. I have my personal Instagram at Lawyer Bay ESQ, or my business Instagram at Tell a Lawyer Group. My website is www.tellalawyergroup.com, and my podcast is Single in Law.
Hear it, I have to check that out. Now, Xavier, tell us about Lawyer Like and how the viewers can find you and contact you.
So my business, Lawyer Like, is dedicated to bridging the gap between the entertainment industry and the law by someone who's experienced both. You can find me on my personal social media at Xavier E. Prather, and you can find my business, Lawyer Like, on all socials at Ask Lawyer Like.
I want to thank both of you, Xavier and Attorney Anderson, for being here and breaking down the cases. I know we didn't get super deep into it, but just being here and just giving some credibility to your professionalism and your experience with these cases. We really appreciate y'all being here. We really say thank you to you both. So thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right, coming up next, find out what's on Armand's hit list. And later, a man explains why he believes he's a catch. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot of show left. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, y'all. Every week, there are newly released singles from your favorite artists, a new concert, music videos, you name it. And we are going to cover it all in a segment we like to call Armand's Hit List.
Yeah.
Okay, Armand, looking like you on the cover of your own mixtape. You are a rapper. I've actually seen some of your stuff, and you actually have some good songs. All right, Armand, what is on your hit list today?
All right, let's get into it because it's a lot. All right, so it looks like Cardi B and rapper Bia are on each other's hit list, all right? The two began beefing back in March after Bia accused Cardi of copying her flow. Take a look at Cardi B's response.
I'm so appalled at the fact that she thinks that I'm copying her or that I'm stealing from her, because there's nothing that she do that I like. I don't like her music. I don't like her style. I don't like how she look. I don't like nothing about her.
Now, oh, that's spicy. I don't like nothing about her. All right. Ever since this exchange, both Cardi and Bia have been going off on each other through diss tracks. However, fans seem to think that Bia's diss track was nothing short of an embarrassment. Someone on social media wrote, Bia can rap, but that diss wasn't good at all.
I agree.
Another person wrote, Cardi cleared her in 1 second. Wash, chopped. Oh, poor Bia. Who's you to go against the queen? I personally feel as though Cardi B did herself a disservice going back and forth with Bia because Cardi B and Bia are not on the same level. And for me, Bia, I don't really respect it because when we talked about, Cardi B and Bia beefing, Bia tried to allude to the fact that bloggers like myself and the fans were trying to cause drama between female rappers. And here we are. These girls really didn't like each other. So don't try to blame us as the fans and me and other commentators for you guys' beef because y'all don't be liking each other and we just clocked the T. Bia, if you felt like she copied you, you should have came in and said, hey, you copied me, and she should have stood on business. Now, Claudia and Al, what are your thoughts on this mess? All right, but before we get into that, I want to also know why you think male rap beef is celebrated while female rap beef is ridiculed. Al, let's start with you.
So to me, I think that, okay, what I think about this beef, I like the fact that they, I say here all the time that take it to the wax, take it to the booth. That's the type of hip hop, that's the type of rap that I'm used to. Okay, in this particular case, the ladies are still taking it to social media. That's the part that I don't like. And I just feel like if they kept it on skills and their rap skills, then that would be fine. Diss them in the booth. But why are we dragging each other on social media? Why is it still a conversation? I don't get. Now, why do men not get the same treatment as women, or why do women not get to do the same thing as men? I don't know. It looks like these new rappers, these new men, they're taking it to social media too. So it looks like tit for tat to me.
Okay, I want to add this really quick before we go to Claudia. I like what you said about social media. However, Bia did take it to the booth, and Cardi B threatened to sue her because of it, just as a little note. So go ahead, Claudia.
Yeah, I think that Cardi was saying something about Bia was talking lying on her vagina, and she was sick of it. And so she's like, I'm not having that. And talking to Offset's friends about her. I will say this, I'm a Cardi B fan. I don't really know much that Bia has done. I know she's done a couple good songs, but I feel like I wish but I know she's an emotional Libra and I love her for it because I think it makes her music good, but it also at her detriment. I wish she would have done like Megan did, taking a page out of Megan's book and be like, okay, I'm not going to give you time on social media. I'm going to get in the booth and drop another diss track to you back. I would have liked that more. But at the same time, this is how Cardi B has always been. She's not switching up. She's not changing up. This is kind of like who she is. And at this point, I think it's redundant for us to keep on saying, Cardi, you shouldn't go on social media, because she blew up on social media. Before she got on Love and Hip Hop, she was very popular for her views and her takes and her personality on social media. So I really can't fault her for that. But Bia, your diss track was super whack. Like I thought it was extremely weak, and I kind of feel like at my big age of 51, I feel like I could have wrote a better one than that. I thought it was really bad, and I think you're better than that. I think your other songs were much better than that song.
Well, child, she talked about how Cardi B speak like she in second grade and doesn't write her raps. And in my opinion, I feel like Cardi B, it doesn't matter. Hip hop is hip hop. You never know what's the truth or the lie. But at the end of the day, if you're a rapper, get in the booth and don't go to the Glorias about it. You guys are both rappers, so move on. Now, in other female rap news, let's take a look at Billboard's first ever hottest female rappers list. Now, I loved this, all right? The top 3 rappers on the list are Nicki Minaj, Sexy Red, and Megan Thee Stallion coming in at 3rd place. Now, first of all, let me just say this. This is one of the music lists that I completely agree with. Billboard has gotten it completely right, all right? Nicki Minaj is number 1. Cardi B was at a whopping number 7. JT was at number 9. Flo Milli doing big things at number 10. Claudia, Al, do you guys agree with the order of this list?
I'll go. Okay. Yeah, I do actually. I think Nicki Minaj is killing it right now on her tour. She's doing great things. She finally got her presentation, her show together, and that is not shade because listen, people have made comments about it, but I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. From a bit that I've seen from tours, like the video that has leaked out that I've seen, she is doing her big one, and I got to give her nothing but respect. She is doing her thing, and to also be in the game for so long and still be at the top of her game, 1,000%. Sexy Red, love her or hate her, the youth likes her. She has numbers. She's doing numbers. Meg Thee Stallion doing her thing. Cardi B. Now some people can find it shady that she's number 7 and think that's a diss. 1,000% that is not a diss. This woman did an album. How many years ago was it? Like 10 years ago?
Almost.
To still be in the conversation when you dropped one album that's gone like what? Diamond, I think she's gone. Is it Diamond or Double Diamond? She's like, that says a lot. So I can't take nothing away from Nicki Minaj. I can't take nothing away from Cardi. And shout out to, hey, love or hate her, Sexy Red and Megan Thee Stallion doing the thing. I agree with this list. I think they got it right.
What do you think? Here's the thing.
Listen, I like Doja Cat. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. She's number 4 on the list.
I think Doja Cat, Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B makes sense to me, but there's no way that I can look at a list about female rappers if I don't see Lil' Kim. That's just my opinion, though. I don't know the rest of these ladies on the list, but as long as they're working hard and they're making a list, congratulations and good luck.
Okay, and just a quick ad. The list is for the top 2024 rappers of right now. So, like for the first quarter of the year, this is who's the hottest of 2024 in the first
2024.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And that even shows even more about Cardi's fire because she's just been hopping on remixes and not even dropping her own album. So, all right, thank you for that, Armand. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, let's get back to some more topics. Social media is not pleased about Tyler Perry's recent announcement that he will be writing and directing a new Netflix movie focused on a single mother who faces a series of unfortunate events. All right, y'all. Do you think it's time Tyler Perry needs to switch it up, or do you think his brand is working for him, and so why change it? Al, what do you think?
Well, clearly Tyler Perry's brand is working for him, and he has no reason to change it up. Did you see his lot? Did you see his kingdom down in Atlanta? Tyler Perry has monetized trauma from the Black community, specifically the trauma of Black women. And people watch it and they can't get enough. So until the audience stop watching it, he will continue to make millions and millions and is becoming a billionaire because of it. It's a cash cow for him. Why would you ever stop making content, even though it's traumatic content, if it's a cash cow for you? The positive side, though, which I got to give the positive, is Tyler Perry employs more Black actors and creatives than any other outlet in the entertainment business.
Okay, that's true. All right. Mom, what do you think?
Listen, I'm not going to hate on Tyler Perry because, hey, if he called me to put on one of those bad wigs and be a deadbeat father, I'd do it. But at the end of the day, as a watcher and as a viewer and as a fan, it's kind of like, wow, you have one of the biggest platforms. You're one of the most revered Black men in Hollywood. Why do you keep telling these traumatic stories and pushing these stories about us? Do you have any success stories? Why does everything have to be about an abused woman or a woman getting AIDS or a woman being raped or a woman being dead or a down low brother, like and with bad hair and bad lighting? Tyler Perry, can we please get some elevation? You are the voice of the people. You have the access. You have the money. Can you please show us in a better light? And Black people, we have to get above the rim with this stuff and stop living so low vibrational and accepting anything that we get just because we're Black and loving it because we're not going to see any change.
You know, this is the kind of thing where I think it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You know what I mean? Is it Black people supporting what Tyler Perry puts out there so they're consuming it? Or is this art just imitating life? He's just going by what is out there and also what people are preferring to consume. I feel like we show our disdain or what we like through supporting things. If we don't like it, we don't support it, then they won't keep making it. The reason why he keeps doing it is because it keeps making money. Personally, I would love to get back to the era of the 90s and the early 2000s when we had aspirational films like Boomerang. We see Marcus, Eddie Murphy as Marcus, you know, the executive at, ad agency and Robin Givens looking super fly. I would love to get back to that kind of era. But unfortunately, it seems like it's easier said than done. I would love to see more of those kind of movies where I want to be the people I see in these movies instead of being like, damn, that reminds me of my struggling cousin. All right, keep it locked because coming up next, find out why a man thinks he's the catch and later a fake lawyer shocks all. Keep it locked. Hit that like button. We'll be right back.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
All right, welcome back to the show. Go ahead and hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. We appreciate y'all so much, soulmates. All right, y'all, a man explained why he believes he is a top-level individual. The 42-year-old man has no kids and said, I'm everything a woman can dream of. 6'6" with the 10-inch bleep. What makes someone a catch? I just want to add, this is Mr. Organic on social media. He's on Instagram. He looks like an NBA player, and I follow him, and he's actually really, really funny. But he actually talked about how the dating scene is kind of skewed and how there's a lot of beautiful and broke women and what are you bringing to the table? Al, what do you think about this?
Oh man, I like his confidence. But let me tell you something. You know, being 6'6" and carrying a 10-inch stick ain't gonna get you no mortgage or loans. It's not gonna help you down at the bank whenever you try to, like, you know, get some credit or something. I prefer somebody that's got good credit, health status, a real estate portfolio, investment portfolio, retirement. That makes a great catch to me in my mind. I don't know about just being 6'6" and having a long slong.
In his defense, like I said, I do follow him. He has a very successful podcast, gets millions of views. He actually makes a lot of money, and it seems like he has a great piece of property in prime Miami real estate scene. So this guy has money. He has the cars. So I think, you know, usually people say, oh, you always take the side of the woman. I think he has a point. I think you can't just be beautiful and be able to give good sex. If you want a man that is a high value man, I do believe that both people should be bringing something to the table. I think no one should just be bringing looks unless you want to be with an old, raggedy, dusty man like how Anna Nicole Smith was. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Oh, so you're saying he's got money and he's got real estate and he's got good credit. Why didn't he leave with that?
Well,
right. Well, I'll tell you why.
Why did he leave with that? Why is he leading with 6'6" and a 10-inch long?
Because any woman that encounters him needs to run for the hills. At the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, but in your 40s, you know, clout chasing on Instagram and bragging about your 10 inches apiece. At the end of the day, this is red flags for raging narcissists. You will be miserable. And let's be clear, women, he doesn't want you to have anything because if you have too much, he's going to try to break you down to nothing. And he'd rather have a woman that has nothing so he can tell her she ain't. So when he cheats on her, she feels worse about herself. Run from the hills from a man like this. If he leads about his penis and all of this, and he's a content creator, he has popularity, he is a narcissist.
People ask him what he looks like, so it's Mr. Organic. It's Mr. Organic with a K at the end.
Claudia, don't text him.
I don't have his number. Auntie Mead Moss says 10 inches. He's removing tonsils with that. And Billie Jean 327 said, I like to keep my uterus. No thanks to 10 inches. And Jay Scott, I agree with this, said both men and women should have their own money. I so agree with that. Like, let's be two complete people, not 50-50, two complete people meeting in the middle. That's what I'm about. All right, on the topic.
Men with money don't give all that. You got to check the sign. You can find some men that's got it and they really rest in that energy. You talk too much. He's too boisterous to be a 40-year-old powerhouse. You do too much talking. A real man that really got it like that don't do all that talking. This is the cloud chaser and a narcissist, and he's more flashy than he is about being in a relationship with you. So you better run.
Okay, all right. Okay, fellas. On the topic of dating, take a look at this post. It says, baby, once I stop cooking for you, the relationship is over. How do you know if you've checked out of a relationship? Armand, let's go to you first. What are the signs you're like, okay, I must be checked out because I'm not doing this anymore?
I'm like an emotional type of person, so I like to cuddle, I like the kids, I like to do all those things. And then too, like I like to argue, not like to argue, but like I'll respond. Like I'll care. But once I stop caring and I just let you have it, and I'm just like, all right, you got it. Once I stop caring and being combative in a sense when I'm frustrated, that's when you worry, because now I've checked out, because now I don't care anymore. I'm emotionally disconnected.
Okay, Al, what are your signs? Be like, you know what, I must be checked out on this.
Yeah, usually I'm extremely communicative. I'm also very nurturing, and I'm also very open to wanting to please. You know that I've checked out a relationship when I don't communicate with you anymore, when I emotionally and physically don't want to be in the same room with you. That is a sign. When I don't want to be in a room with you, then you know I have checked out of that relationship. And also when I don't want to make an effort to try to fix it anymore. Those would be my top 3 things if you were in a relationship with me, knowing that our relationship has ended.
I will say, as a woman, physically, when you will get signs to me like I won't want to look you in the eye anymore. Like if I can look you in the eye, like you should know I'm not talking trash about you. I'm not like, you're not getting violated in my group chat, my girls. But as long as I'm still like able to do that, then I feel good about us. Also, when a man touches me and it begins to become ticklish, where it's like, that means my body, you know what I mean? My body is rejecting you. So if a woman ever gets ticklish when you start grabbing and feeling on her boobies or whatever, it's the beginning. The body is knowing before the mind. I'm just saying. And also, yeah, just kind of giving up on arguments, like not trying to fight for it anymore. You know what I mean? That's when I know I'm like, I must be checked out because I'm not even trying to be right. I don't even care if I'm right or I'm wrong anymore. I'm like, whatever. You got it, player. You got it. Confident, not cocky says, nah, I'll cook, but once I stop making your plate, it's over. Jadel Celestine says, conversation is no longer stimulating and the ambiance on their end is no longer care there. And Lauren M said, yeah, if I don't kiss you anymore, it's over. Oh, that's so sad. I hate when that happens. I hate when you still like the person, but your body's like rejecting, like, oh, get away from me. All right. In similar news, a woman shared with the internet her requirements when it comes to dating a man. Watch this clip.
Expect a man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids. You certainly can't afford a house. You certainly can't afford my bills. And I got bills to pay. Okay?
I'm going first on this one because I'm a woman, okay? Ladies, I'm sick of this crap. I really am. Yes, I think it's classy of a man to pay for the first date, but your Uber to the date, like you can't even meet him any kind of way to the date. If he wants to, I think you should be very appreciative of that and be like, why, thank you. But expecting you to pay me to get there, like you're giving scrubby, like you're giving dusty. You're giving like, without this, I couldn't even eat tonight. I fully think that as adults, if you can't get yourself to a date, then you have no business being in the dating field, in the dating pool. I really think that. And I think that some of these people have such ridiculous standards that who would be attracted to that? I think in the conversations I have with my male friends say they love a woman that got it going on. Now, I don't want you to try to use me for mine, but I can certainly get myself to a date. And if I can't get myself to a date, fellas, you should not be with a girl that can't even get herself to a date, especially if you plan on paying for it. Stop being scrubs, lady. I don't hang with girls like this. I really don't. Armand, what you think?
This is the problem that I have. I think that and I love us here on Fox Soul, but I just feel like us as the community, and I speak for Black people, we've taken this women and men thing way too far. Women have gotten way too comfortable telling a man what he needs to do and how he needs to show up in a woman's life. Meanwhile, she's on live going viral looking like a crash dummy. Don't come over here telling a man what he needs to do and you don't even have Vaseline on your lips. You don't even have no water on your edges. Did you even brush your teeth? You don't even have any moisturizer on your skin, and you telling the man what he should and what he can and what he won't do in order to secure you. This is the problem. People have gotten too far trying to tell a man what they need from him, and they feel like they can show up like that. Do you not understand that in Black women, you have to understand just because you have the box, that the baby maker, you have to understand you have to present in a way where a man is attracted and wants to do these things for you. Listen, white women would have never got on their platform, and Asian women would have never got on their platform looking like that, demanding what a man needs to do for them. So you need to really step back and present yourself in a way where a man really wants to do something for you. Because, man, ain't no man taking you out on no date. Ain't no man paying for no Uber, and ain't no man wanting to put no baby inside of you. So you don't have to worry about it.
Let me say this. I don't think this is a Black woman thing. I think, once again, this is a low-class thing because there's plenty of women, peep my Instagram and my circle of baddies that got it going on, got their own money, got nice cars, got their own jewelry, that just want a good man in their life. And all these demands don't have to be met before we go on a date. They just want a good, solid person. Al, what do you think about this conversation?
I feel like you can't look that unkept asking for what you asking for.
Yes,
Period.
absolutely.
In the story. Period. In the story. How you gonna ask for what you can't give?
Exactly.
How you gonna ask for something that you can't give? Baby, I wouldn't send an ambulance to your house looking unkept.
Okay, Al. Period.
All right. Let's be clear. Don't attack men who don't want to send you an Uber when you come on looking like that.
How are you? If you come onto the world looking like that, how are you coming one-on-one? If this is what I got to look at in general, what do you look like 5 years down the line? This is how you present.
Fellas, I have to agree with you both. I am agreeing with you both. Listen, don't be coming on here with no bonnet on your head, looking dusty as hell with all these demands. And fellas, with nothing going on in your life, talking about you need a 10. I'm not going to make this a man-woman thing. This is a class thing. And y'all got your nerve looking like a bunch of dusty scrubs with all these stipulations. I've had so many guys hit me up like, yo, hook me up with one of your friends and she better be a dime. I said, is it for you? Because I'm definitely not bringing a dime to a nickel. Like, date in your demographic, in your bracket. I'm just saying. All right, coming up, I love that segment, y'all. Thank you for that. Coming up, a fake lawyer gets himself out of jail. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
We are chopping it up with the host of Marriage Bootcamp, Dr. Ish Major. Welcome to the show.
TGIF.
When you and I sit down and have a heart-to-heart with no phones, no distraction, am I your person? That's the question.
Every weekday.
Kelly says, I love Ish on my screen. Is he single, asking for a friend?
Join the chat.
I am single, Kelly. Who's the friend?
Kelly, who's the friend? Please comment back.
On Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Welcome back to TGIF. All right, a man named Brian Medwenda was arrested back in 2023 for pretending to be a lawyer. Now, Brian assumed the fake identity by tampering with the Law Society of Kenya's portal to gain access to the legal profession under false pretenses. Now, he won 26 cases as a fake lawyer, so he did a good job as a fake lawyer. Well, now Brian is a free man after representing himself in court and winning the case. Do y'all think, since he had such a high success rate, I mean, he's kind of doing better than a lot of other lawyers, do you think they need to give this man an honorary law degree? Al, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, sure. Honorary law degree is acceptable as long as he's not given a certificate or a license. I'm fine with honorary law degree.
Okay, Armand, what do you think?
And child, you know what they say? Sometimes experience beats, schooling or education. So I would hire him. True, because the guy got himself off and he won 6 cases. So at the end of the day, some of these experienced lawyers can't even do this. Some of these educated lawyers can't even do that. So at the end of the day, if he's actually practicing and winning, give the guy the honorary lawyer degree.
I mean, they give celebrity honorary degrees all the time. Matter of fact, I got an email about getting an honorary doctorate. I'm like, really? Okay. I mean, what would qualify me to have one? But okay. The fact that he did win 26 cases without a legal, a degree, I find that fascinating. I think this is something to look into. Maybe he did get it in ill-begotten ways, but the fact that he is talented enough to win these cases, I think that says a lot about him. And maybe it's worth looking into, although it was shady and probably against the law. All right, check out this tweet. It says, y'all need to understand the definition of being pro-Black. And it's obvious y'all do not. Pro-Black means being committed to the advancement of the Black race, which also includes increasing our population. Tell me, how are you doing that with a white person? Do you think someone outside their race can still be pro-Black? Al, I know you said your dad is white as well. You're biracial. What do you think about this? Because we Black, right? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is a short-sighted conversation or tweet. I think whoever made the tweet has missed the mark. Let me tell you something. Whether you are biracial, multiracial, if you have a Black parent, you have Black blood in you. Okay? Period. End of story. As far as being pro-Black, there are people out here that are not in our race that are more pro-Black than Black people. Okay? So you can't define being pro-black simply by race. It doesn't make any sense. If we look at the Constitution, if we look at the lawyers who fought for our rights, if we look at leaders in industry, a lot of people that were pro-black to help us get where we are today are not our race. So I would never talk bad about them and their contribution to making sure that black people got the equal rights that we deserve in this country.
On real quick, what do you got to say about that?
I'm gonna just be honest. I always thought it was weird that the most pro-black people always had a white woman or a white man. To me, that was always an oxymoron, because if you were so into black people, then why is your counterpart not black? They seem to go the hardest, and it'll always confuse me.
That is true. And I also will say that a lot of biracial people seem to go hard as well. And I think they shouldn't be shat upon when they do, because, they could easily sell out and go the other way. All right, y'all, I want to thank my guest, Xavier E. Prather and Attorney Anderson, for stopping by. I also want to thank my co-host, Al Reynolds and Armand Wiggins, for joining me tonight. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. I hope you run it back and rewatch the show tomorrow and tell a friend. Stay tuned for Fox Soul Face Off. We will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, y'all.
Good night, soulmates.